Welcome to the Off-Though Podcast, everybody.
Hello and welcome back to the Off the Dome Podcast, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good today, man. Like always. Oh, excuse me. Sad news today. Yesterday, Julio Jones signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. R.I.P. in the chat, boys. R.I.P. in the chat for that one. You see, you had to rock the gear. You know, him going to Julio Jones is my favorite player now. When I first got into football, I remember watching Michael Vick, and that was who got me to. I was like, I want to do that, and I want to be that guy. So once he left, I stuck with Atlanta, and then we get Matt Ryan, which is great. He's a stud. First play ever for Matt Ryan, touchdown. Is amazing. I was a big Roddy White fan. Loved Roddy White. Michael Turner. But then Julio Jones was that guy for me. Julio Jones was like ride or die fucking, oh yeah, Julio Jones is shit, dude. He's a future Hall of Fame receiver for sure. But damn, dude. This one, when he went to Tennessee, it was like, all right, I can root for him on Tennessee. No problem. Tennessee's, like, if we play Tennessee in the Super Bowl, God forbid, I want to beat them in regular season. So, now that he's going with the Bucs, it's a little bit different. This one hits home. This one hits home for sure. Just because of the 28-3. And I don't hate him for going there because I get it. It's his best chance to really go win a ring, and he wanted to play with Tom Brady just because he wanted to have a good quarterback. You know, he had Matt Ryan his whole career, and then he goes to Ryan Tannehill. And sorry, Ryan Tannehill's not even on Matt Ryan's level. Ryan Tannehill's definitely a notch down. But so he's playing with the Hall of Fame quarterback. He's like, I got to play with the Hall of Fame quarterback because that's the only way it works. Like, if he can put the ball right where it needs to be, and I don't have to do all the work but catching it. Julio's not trying to do the work of running his superb routes because his hammies ain't holding up for that, all right? The fucking hamstrings are not what they used to be. I mean, he's had hamstring issues his whole career, and this is him playing through those injuries. Like, I would say maybe the first 5 seasons he was fine because, let's see. No, he even had issues back in 2013, his third year. He only played 5 games that year. I mean, he's played 13, 16, 15, 16, 14. He plays almost every game. Dude doesn't miss games, and now injuries, I mean, it's just caught up with him. He's 33 now. He'll be 33 this season. But he did play 10 games with Tennessee. It's just the separation's not there. The hamstrings just bother him. I mean, he played 9 games in 2020 with us. Just hamstrings on and off. That's the big thing with him is the hammies. So if he can get that right, which he basically had a whole season off, they're not going to push him in practice. That's why he took so long to sign. He's just been recovering, chilling, getting the body right. I would assume because he knows what he can provide. He can help a team win a championship easily, and he's going to Tampa Bay where he's going to have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Brady. They already have plenty of receivers. They don't need. The thing is, they don't need him. Atlanta needed him for the longest time. When he first came in, they didn't need him. He had Roddy White, but then Roddy White got old. They needed him. The rest of that time, they needed him. They got Calvin Ridley. Released the pressure valve just a little bit, but that was when it was towards the end. I mean, they only played like a year or two, and then he was getting hurt. So, and now Ridley's out for a year. So it's going to be interesting, but it's nice that it makes sense for him to go there with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They both had 1,000 yards last year. Then Russell Gage signed with him. He was projected to be their third guy. And he was with Atlanta. He's played with Julio. He was down in Atlanta. He had 700, almost 800 yards last year. I think he had like 776 or something. So, I mean, he's a baller. And then you add Julio. So Julio's going to come in. They're just going to have a deep rotation of guys that can just come in and get it done. So if Julio is out with an injury, if he does have that hammy flare up and he has to miss a game, he can afford to miss a game if need be. Yeah, obviously you don't want to have to go through that. You hope he just plays all the games and does really good. But in this situation, he can afford to miss. With Atlanta, we never really could afford him to miss games because he was such a big factor in our offense. So he played through it his whole fucking career with Atlanta. That's why he hasn't. It's not showing in his games played because he would just muscle through it. And he's a tough guy, but he's old now. You can be a tough guy for so long, but age, Father Time wins every time. So with Julio, it just sucks. He's gonna be in NFC South. The bright side, I get to see his games twice a year. And he's on Tampa, so he's going to be on a lot of prime time. I'm going to get I get to watch a lot of Julio games this year. That'll be nice. How many fucking prime time games do the Bucs have? They got to have a bunch. Tampa Bay. Let's see. How many? Is there a list here? Okay, I gotta read the whole article to get that. They have 5 primetime games, so I get to see Julio 5 times, plus another 2. Let's see if it's against. Let's see if it's against Atlanta anytime. I don't think it is. Ours is against Carolina on Thursday night, I think, and that's the only one. So they play Dallas. I get to watch them play the Cowboys. That's week 1. Oh, week 1 Sunday. They're week 1 Sunday Night Football. I get to watch Julio Jones week 1 Sunday Night Football. Awesome. Okay. This is a ranking. So number 4, Kansas City Sunday Night Football again. Well, let me see. Oh, it says right there, week 4. So week 4. So week 1, week 4. Week 13 against the Saints. They got Monday Night Football. That'd be the worst one, I would say. Week 8 against Baltimore, they have a Thursday night game. That's nice. And then week 16, Sunday Night Football. Around Christmas night. Okay. Nice. So for Christmas, I get a Julio game. And then that's not counting the 2 Falcons games I'm going to watch. So that's going to be a total of 7 games I get to watch. I get to watch Julio play 7 games. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at him going to win. Obviously, when we play Tampa, I want them to lose. Julio can have 300 yards and they lose, and I'll be okay. Like that's how I have to root for him now. I'm rooting for Julio, but not so much Tampa to win or anything. That's the last thing I want to see. But they have a really good shot. I mean, how does this push them? I think this makes them the favorite in the NFC, even though they have the Super Bowl champs in the NFC. I think Tampa's the favorite. I have a hard time going back and forth. I mean, this makes them the favorite. I mean, you add a piece like this. You already had a great defense. Your offensive line's great. You have a good running back. You're having issues apparently with Leonard Fournette's weight, which I heard. Was he coming in like? We need to look this up. Was he coming in like Eddie Lacy? Like he was almost pulling Eddie Lacy. I think they said 30 pounds. Leonard, I don't know how you. Okay, Leonard Fournette. Wait, it pops up weight gain. Wait, let's see the news. Right here. Okay. Report, Bucs running back Leonard Fournette reports for training camp at 245 pounds. Was back down to 204 when he reported camp today. Fournette is back in shape. Okay. Fournette laughed off coach and he was reported Bucs. Fournette showed up to minicamp at nearly 260, so he ballooned up 15 pounds. Damn. He fluctuated. While Fournette is listed at 228 on the team's official roster, so he's 245. That's a big fucking dude. Tackling him's gonna fucking just hurt. You know how like in a football game, back in the day you play football, and you'd have the rain game. You know, you always had one rain game. In the rain game, if you're lucky, the rain game was the game where hits hurt. You didn't want to tackle nobody. So it was an advantage for the offense in the running game because no one wants to tackle a running back, especially if you're tackling a 245-pound freight train In the fucking rain, it just stings a little bit more. In the rain, oh, you're slipping and oh man, you slip and then you just get bulldozed. Imagine you're trying to make an angle, cut him off and tackle him, and you slip and kind of fall backwards, and he just fucking hits you because he's expecting you to come at you. Good God, dude, 245 pounds. That would lay you on your ass real quick. But yeah, you would always have that rain game, and that's what you knew. All right, but the advantage went to the defense as well because you couldn't pass. Passing was obsolete in the rain game, especially at that age. Like nowadays, they can in the NFL. You can throw the ball in the rain. You're all right. Back then, trying to throw the ball in the rain, yeah, fucking right, dude. It was sloppy everywhere. So that's where it was fun, but it was hard to tackle. So the teams would be running the ball a lot, and man, it would just wear down in the defense, get hit like that constantly, especially that size. Whew, that's a freight train. So yeah, I think this will be good for the Bucs. I think they have to be the favorite going in now, and it's just crazy the Julio's stats. I mean, if Julio comes in, I was looking this up now because he's up there, and I thought Antonio Brown was a bit closer to Julio, but Julio's 17 and he's 24 in all-time receiving. Julio, believe it or not, he can jump from 17 to realistically the highest he can get is 3. He can pass Terrell Owens at 1593. He just needs a little over 2,000 yards. He needs like 2,500 yards. So this season, say he has a 1,000-yard season, that puts him at 1,430. That gets him right. That'll pass Andre Johnson. He'll be just behind Reggie Wayne by like 10 yards for 10th. So, and then he gets another 1,000 yards. That puts him at 1,530. That gets him all the way to 4. He passes Randy Moss. So he just needs 2,000-yard seasons to get to 4 from 17. Is he going to do it? No. But if he stays healthy and he loves it down there in Tampa and he does this, and he can get, well, the thing is, Brady ain't staying forever. So he needs to get 1,000 yards this season because then he'll have to go somewhere else. He'll have to go somewhere else to win it because he's not going to stay in Tampa when Brady's gone because Brady's not staying more than this year, right? Like, he would have to, he'd have to go to a different team. See, I always thought, I would have rather him gone to the Colts and try to win with Indianapolis and play with Matt Ryan, but it'll be interesting. But I think for yards, man, he's going to pass a lot of guys. He has a really chance. He just needs 1,000 yards, and I think he can get it. He'd be passing. He could pass Torrey Holt easily. That's the first guy he's going to pass. So if he has 500 yards, he'll pass Henry Ellard for 15th. And then 2 more. I mean, and Anquan Bolden. That's a 2-yard difference. But he'd be passing Anquan Bolden, Chris Carter, James Lofton, Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Steve Smith, Tim Brown, Tony G, the only tight end that high, Isaac Bruce, Randy Moss, and T.O. If he just has like 2,500 yards left in him. I don't know how many more. I mean, he could play a few more seasons. I think he adds value, and he's got to prove it this year. If he does it this year, then teams are going to want to sign him. So he'll have a chance. It's crazy to think that Julio Jones could be a top 3 receiver only behind Larry Fitzgerald and Jerry Rice. That's nuts, dude. It's possible. That's the only possible. It's not possible to say he'll pass Larry. He'll sure as hell ain't passing Jerry. So the only thing with Julio has been his touchdowns. Everyone's saying now that since Gronk's not coming back, he's just like Gronk, but a little bit not as heavy. Like, it's Gronk. If he had 30 pounds, it'd be the same as Gronk. Well, excuse me, Julio's never been a touchdown guy. This is going to be the ultimate experiment right here. If Tom Brady gets him a lot of touchdowns, because you want to look at Julio's career, the only knock on this guy is the touchdowns. And I don't know if that's really a knock. I don't know. I don't know if you would say that's a knock, because if you have the yards to be a top 3 guy, touchdowns aren't anything. But he's never had more than 10 touchdowns, and that was his second season. This is in order in his career on the touchdowns from rookie to now. 8, 10, 2, 6, 8, 6, 3, 8, 6, 3, 1. What? Let's say, okay, a guy that came up. came up with him in Antonio Brown. Let's see. What are these stats? Passing yards? What the fuck? Okay, let's just go to Antonio Brown's career. So, well, we said Julio's touchdowns, right? 61. The guy that came up with him, let's look at Antonio Brown. He has 83. Now let's listen to his numbers. Remember, Julio only had 10 once. Never had more than 10. That was the only time he had double digits. Slower start for Antonio Brown. Here we go. 0, 2, 5, 8, 13, 10, 12, 9, 15, 1, 4, 4. The 1, 4, 4 is when he was going on a tangent, after the Raiders and all that shit. Went to New England and then Tampa Bay and all that. So, but he progresses like a rookie normally does, and then has a stellar primetime career where it's 13, 10, 12, 9, and 15. He's had some really good seasons too at yards, but where Julio's just been consistent his whole career, he's just consistent. The touchdowns have just been consistently low, but he's been consistent. And Antonio Brown does the same thing in his yards. Revs up, prime, idles down. 167 his rookie year, then 1108, 787, 1499, 1698, 1834, 1284, 1533, and 1297. I mean, he had a really high peak. That's what got him so high in yards to begin with, just because he had a really high peak. But I mean, for 3 years, he has 56, 43, 554, 167. So he has a lot of low years that factor down his yards. But Julio's just been consistent all year. Other than last year, that was just really a year where he's just like, whoa. Julio's been consistent. I mean, that's been his one MO. So it'd be interesting, man. I hope he does get things there, but we just had to send it off to Julio because I was in the other team. Hate to see it. All right. Oh, big thing we hadn't talked about yet that we need to get caught back up. I had put this off for whatever reason. Kind of took a few days off last week. Didn't do a couple podcasts, but Kyler Murray got paid, which is big news in a couple different reasons. That's big. It's good for the Cardinals. They got their deal done. That's their guy. They want to move forward. They pay him big money. They were comparing it to the Deshaun Watson deal. But the way this thing actually kind of breaks down, it's like the first 3 years he gets paid, and then the Cardinals have an option to kind of go another direction. If that's not going well, they can get rid of him. Even though he signed a 5-year extension? Yeah, so he signed a 5-year extension, and it's $219 million. It's $219 million for 6 years. What it comes down to, it's on paper it's $230 for 5, and he's making $46 million in the year. But it says in the first 3 years, after the first 3 years, they have a way of getting rid of him. So basically, it's 3-year 105, and then they can get the hell out if they don't like what's happening. So kind of a smart move on the Cardinals side. They covered their ass both ways there, I guess. And yeah, so I think now this the other aspect of this deal is Lamar's winning by sitting back. He's now sat back and had waited on this deal to get done. He's now watched Deshaun Watson get buku bucks, fully guaranteed deal, reset the market. Now Kyler Murray gets paid pretty close to that, and Lamar's like, now I've won an MVP, so I'm going to have to get more than these guys because my value's a lot higher than these guys. I've been the best player in this fucking league at one time. Have they? No. All right, so you have to value me. Am I not valued more than what they are valued? One guy's not even going to play for who knows how long. And, yeah, I think I should get a better deal. And everyone was giving like, oh, they're not gonna get this deal done. Lamar's stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's representing himself. That's why it's fucking up. Representing himself has been the smartest decision he's done because now he's gonna fucking make a hell of a lot of money because he waited on these guys to get their deals done, and he's better than them. Statistically, what he's done, and they have no backup plan. He has Baltimore in the palm of their hand. He's like, you guys have basically put your whole team, built it around me. If you're going to not sign me, it's not going to work. And when he went out and Tyler Huntley had to come in, it was proven. It did not work without Lamar Jackson. It's not the same thing because that guy's a supreme athlete. He's like a modern-day Michael Vick. And that's fact. So shout out for Kyler. I think that makes the Cardinals very scary. He's clear-minded. He's not focusing on no deal. He's just going out and playing. They got him Hollywood Brown to fill in for suspended DeAndre Hopkins. But when he comes back, it's a scary 1-2 punch. They're working on the offensive line. Arizona's going to be tough. The Rams are going to have a little tough time. There's only a few teams in the NFC that are scary, but the ones that are scary, they all can compete with winning a championship with these guys. Green Bay, I think, of the lesser teams, has a chance. Tampa Bay obviously has a chance. I think they're the favorite. Rams they pretty much got better. So for the most part, it's a toss-up between the Bucs and the Rams, who I think is winning the NFC. I don't think Green Bay has enough. They'd have to pray for injuries on one of these teams. I mean, truthfully, and I'm not trying to say that they would, but they would need an injury or something because they don't have enough pieces that they do. They're more complete. And then besides that, the Cardinals now are going to be pretty scary depending on if they can get it all together and put it together, they'll be damn good. So the Cardinals are scary. But we don't know about the 49ers. I think the Eagles are going to be really good. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. They're pretenders, they're not real threats. Sorry, Cowboys Nation, but you guys aren't threats. You really aren't. I think the Eagles are more of a threat. I think the Eagles win that division, truthfully. I think the Eagles are going to be nasty. I think Jalen Hurts locks in. A.J. Brown with Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner at receiver. Yeah, sign me up. They've one of the best O-lines in the game. Always had a solid run game that they could use. I think they're going to be damn good this year. They to me are one of the scarier sleeper teams. Real sleeper teams because they didn't prove nothing last year. No one's high on them this year. But the A.J. Brown move kind of raised some eyebrows. So I think Eagles would be watched out for. The Panthers, I can't place the Panthers with Baker now because I don't know because I really like that team and I thought if Baker went there they'd be really good. But I don't know I don't know how they're going to fare. I got to see it in action before I can really back that up. I have no base on that. So yeah, I think it's interesting. NFC side, AFC's a Wild West, but NFC is going to be interesting because there's not many teams. I think the Cardinals, though, with this deal done, it helps them and they move on with this shit. They don't have to worry about it. We're not fucking cleansing social medias and all that shit. They got it done. They did what they needed to do, and it was good. Good for them. Good all around. A little bit of sad news on this NFL shit here that we're on. Seattle running back Chris Carson's retiring at the age of 27. I guess he's had some neck issues that was really hurting his career. He announced on the 26th failed a physical due to his neck injury. It was crazy. He's a 7th round pick, but he was a solid running back for them, and that might put a wrinkle in what they had going on. Good thing for him, he can get $7 million in injury protection benefits. So that's nice. At least he's kind of covered outside of football because your career's done. Maybe he can get a comeback going or something. Modern medicines get a neck fix and get back in there, but who knows? I just thought that sucks. He wasn't like a great, but he's still in his prime. He was a really solid running back for the Seahawks. Really holding it down for them because they were going to that run heavy style with Russ there, and that's where it kind of got annoying with him. But they were running the ball so much. Pete Carroll believes in the run. He's old school, believes in the run so much. But now they're not going to have Carson, so that's going to be another punch in the gut for them. They just had a terrible offseason, I feel like. Unfortunate. Wanted to wrap this thing up with you guys on a little bit of NBA. We talked a lot of NBA with my brother last episode. If you haven't checked that out, man, go check it out. It's not going to be on the YouTube, so if you're watching this right now on YouTube and you're like, oh, I didn't see that episode, it's only on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. That's where they're going to be. So go make sure to check that shit out. But and just another little wrinkle on the KD thing. We kind of talked about for the first time the story of KD, and now the Celtics are jumping in the mix. Well, I had said Jaylen Brown had tweeted after that, "Shake my head." So he's kind of like, this is ridiculous. He's not feeling it. Now Jason Tatum had been asked about it, and he said, "I love our team. I love the guys that we got." So they're all kind of supporting each other and saying, "Hey, we like what we're doing here. We're not saying we don't like KD. We don't want KD. We're just saying we like what we got." So they're not really doing anything either side, not hurting anybody either way. But with that, so I think it sends a message that they really don't want to the front office. Hey, we don't need this. We're good with what we're doing. We think we can win, and that's what I was saying. I don't think that makes sense. Me and Hayden talked about this yesterday. We said this doesn't really make any sense. I don't know if it makes it any better because what you would have to come up off of. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Neither of us thought it did. So I just thought I'd give you this because it's been kind of quiet from KD, and other things, since that story popped up a few days ago. But it just shows they're kind of thinking the same thing we're thinking. I think everybody's thinking they probably don't want him. They're good with what they have. They added a piece in Malcolm Brogdon that's going to make them good and compete. And I think we both thought they were the number one team in the East. I think they are. So you're going to give that up for what? KD? And you don't know if that's going to make you better. You know what you have now works. You got that far. You can get farther with a little bit more that you added. So I think that's where they're at. They're good. So with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Keep doing your shit. Keep pushing. Keep grinding. Get that money. I love y'all. Peace.